Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Namaqua Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My ode to joy this morning is, it is a beautiful winter morning. I'm looking out my window and the sky is just baby blue. I don't know where you all are, but I hope you also are having a beautiful morning. So my name is Laurel Liefert. I serve as the minister of this feisty, creative, generous, justice-loving congregation in Loveland, Colorado. And one of the things we do when we're together is that we do something embodied, which is that we are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a congregation of open minds, of loving hearts, helping hands, gutsy creativity, and feet that walk our talk. So that's who we are. And we are a multi-generational, inclusive, big tent congregation of seekers. And I wonder whether we have any visitors with us today. Today is a little bit of an unusual service. Instead of a sermon, we're going to take a frolic with Stella Seeker as she looks for the church that is right for her. And so if you are a visitor, would you please maybe put your name and information in the chat box. And if you have the courage, go ahead and unmute and introduce yourself to us. Now, Leonard, I see you moving your hands. Okay, Catherine.
Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm Catherine Stacy. I actually visited the congregation, I think it's been a couple of years ago now, before the whole pandemic thing, and really enjoyed my time. And so I thought I'd pop in today and check it out again. So I'm really glad to see you all.
Well, maybe you'll be like Stella Seeker and looking for the church that's right for you. So were you able to come to our building?
I was. I actually attended the service. It was about supporting people with developmental disabilities. And it was it was a good 2 years ago now, I think, and really enjoyed my time. So
that's great. Yeah,
beautiful building, beautiful congregation.
We got our building in 2015, but it still feels really wonderful to me because we were nomads for a long time. So Catherine, welcome. And I'm glad you decided to come today.
Thank you so much.
And I think I saw somebody else. So this is Becky Rice from Ohio. Well, welcome to you. And so do you have a beautiful winter morning where you are, Becky? Would anyone else like to?
Yes, we do. I'm sorry, I'm new to Zoom. So yes, we have a lovely winter morning. I'm sitting by the fire watching the snowfall.
Oh, wow. We had snow last week, but we haven't had some for a little while. Still a few little patches. No treacherous ice to slip on, though.
Wonderful.
So welcome to you too, Becky.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to say hi?
Hey, y'all. I'm Claire Hamler. I'm in Denver, and I'm really excited to be here. And I wanted to check out a service. I'm going to have a conversation with Laurel this afternoon about the ministerial intern position. And so I wanted to check you all out first. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Claire. So we'll see you a little bit later. So Claire is an ILIF student down at the seminary in Denver. So yeah, see you in a few. Anybody else? So, you know, we're still in the time of the... Oh, there we've got Dave.
Hi. Yes, I'll check in here. I'm Dave. I live in Big Thompson Canyon, so I'm pretty local. I have been to your church a couple times, but once for service, our civic values, I believe. I've been there. A little bit familiar with you, Laura. I've been to services with you.
Yeah, I recognize Dave. Yes.
So I thought I'd join you today, just as kind of seeing what's around again. I am connected with another church, a New Thought church here in Loveland, but I have trouble getting them on Zoom because they do their service on YouTube, and for some reason I can't get YouTube live. I can get YouTube recorded at my home. I'm using satellite for the internet. So I have to find other places to go on Sunday morning to make it a real Sunday. So I'm happy to join you.
Great. Yeah, I do recognize you, Dave, and I'm glad that their lack of whatever allowed you to be with us this morning.
Okay, thank you.
And we don't require monogamy in churches. You can flirt with other congregations if you want.
More
Oh, dear. Well, anyway, as I was saying, so since March, we've been doing our services on Zoom. And what that means is that most of you will remain muted, except during joys and sorrows. And then we have a virtual coffee hour after the session. And also it is being recorded. And there are often or occasionally technological snafus. So I beg your indulgence if any of that happens, but I think we're all used to technology by now. And so with no further ado, let me introduce Barbara Fleming, who is our co-worship leader today. She's also the author of the play that will be presented later in the service. So Barbara, if you'll say the words and I will physically light our chalice.
May the light of truth illumine our minds. May the spark of love set our hearts on fire. May the flame of freedom burn brightly within us, now and always.
And we begin our service by reciting in unison the words to our congregational covenant, and they will be on the screen. So I'll read them, and while you're muted, please join me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And our opening song is one written by Jim Scott. It's called Gather the Spirit. The words will be on the screen. So what I'm going to do is mute my microphone and sing loudly with Gather the Spirit. I invite you to do the same.
All
because that's in waltz time. When we're singing together, standing up, I think we're swaying. And now I invite you to just sit still as you feel. Put your feet on the ground if you feel like it. We're going to take a few minutes to center ourselves and to fully arrive in this place and to invoke a sense of the sacred, of that which is beyond us. And what I'm going to do is read a poem and then ring a bell and invite you into a moment of silence, and then ring another bell to have you either open your eyes or do what it is that you need to rejoin us again. And the poem is by a colleague and friend of mine, Nancy Schaefer, who died way too young, but she was quite a gifted poet. And the title is That Which Holds All. So if you feel like it, you can just close your eyes, open your heart, and listen to these beautiful words. Because she wanted everyone to feel included in her prayer, she said right at the beginning several names for the holy. Spirit, she said, Holy One. Mystery, God. But then, thinking these weren't enough ways of addressing that which cannot be fully addressed, she added particularities, saying, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Ancient Holy One, mystery we will not ever fully know, gracious God, and also Spirit of this earth, God of Sarah, Gaia, Thou. And then, tongue loosened, she fell to naming superlatives as well. Most creative one, greatest source, closest hope. Even though superlatives for the sacred seemed to her probably redundant, but then she couldn't stop. One who made the stars, she said, although she knew technically a number of those present didn't believe the stars had been made by anyone or thing, but just luckily happened. One who is an entire ocean of compassion, she said, and no one laughed. That which has been present since the beginning, she said, and the room was silent. Then, although she hadn't imagined it this way, others began to offer names. Peace, said one. One my mother knew, said another. Ancestor, said a third. Wind, rain, breath, one said near the back. Refuge, that which holds all. A child said, water. Someone said, Kuan Yin. Then, womb, witness, great kindness, great eagle, eternal stillness. And then there wasn't any need to say the things she thought would be important to say. And everyone sat hushed until someone said, Amen. Namaqua is a community that genuinely cares for one another. I think it's one of our authentic strengths that has been there since the beginning 20 years ago, when a group had the idea of starting a Unitarian Universalist congregation in Loveland. We are all beneficiaries of that dream. And one of the ways that we stay connected, even more important during these virtual times, is to take time each Sunday to share our joys and sorrows. And the idea is that we are better together and none of us are alone. And so if you have a birthday or an anniversary that you would like us to celebrate with you, please speak up. And also if you have a personal joy or sorrow that you would like to bring to this community, we will celebrate with your joys and we will send you our comfort and our love for your sorrows. If you'll please either raise your hand or put your name in the chat. And what I'll do is transfer a pebble into this bowl. And it symbolizes, I always think of it as the sky blue embrace of our community. And so actually I will begin. I talked yesterday with Carolyn McCarter, who is a member of our congregation. And I think many of you know that she has for many years now been struggling with a chronic disease, an autoimmune one. And lately they have discovered two masses, one behind her eye and the other in her brain. So she will be going down to Anschutz in a couple of weeks. I'm going to ask pastoral care to send out a request for meals occasionally for her and her husband, Paul. But she specifically asks for thoughts and prayers that we hope that her health and her life will continue. So here's for Carolyn and Paul. Fran Green.
We were fortunate enough to get our second COVID shot Tuesday morning. So we're feeling really good about that. So, and it didn't really hurt, just a little bit of soreness, and that was it.
That's great. So you and Bob are on your way to 95% immunity.
We are for our anniversary, his birthday, and Valentine's Day, which we combine into one celebration.
That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Janet Gillette said that she is home from the hospital after surgery and healing. So here's for you, Janet. Glad it's over with. I can't see people, so if you see someone raising their hand, if you could let me know. Well, if we don't have more, actually, another thing, Sally, I thought I saw you starting to unmute, or Doug, but Kent Robertson, who is a member of our congregation, and he's been speaking often about his wife, Jenny, who just died recently. And Kent yesterday or day before has been admitted to the Poudre Valley Hospital. And so we ask for your prayers for him as well. And I will put in a few more. I know there may be some of you who are here with us today, but perhaps it's too tender to say out loud what's in your heart. And also we light candles here on the altar that symbolize the joys and the sorrows of our world. So for the community members who aren't with us today, and also those beyond our community, we send our comfort and our appreciation of joy and beauty, which are still part of this world and our lives. And so now we have a beautiful Unitarian Universalist song, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. And so let's go ahead and listen to that.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell a story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
I like it because it feels homegrown. I can imagine us being in our sanctuary, singing, maybe a few of us off tune a bit, but it's the heart that matters. So we now come to our play, which is the heart of today's service. This is a play that was written by Barbara Fleming, who is a writer, a more serious writer on historical matters, but this is kind of a light-spirited romp with Stella Seeker as she seeks to find a church that is right for her. And so there's a cast of characters that you will see. This is actually just recorded yesterday, hot off the press. And I hope that you all will enjoy Doug Stewart as narrator, the chorus, Bill Rosequist, Jim Danforth, and Steve Dornsife. Stella Seeker is played by our Director of Religious Education, Janin Wright. Greeters, Suzanne Jensen, Katie Fox, Francie Liefert, Cherry Sokolowski, and Barbara Fleming. Rebecca playing herself, Rebecca, and I play myself, Reverend Laurel. So sit back and enjoy the amazing adventures of Stella Seeker. I know you're on the edge of your seat. Chad, our Zoomer, there we go.
One bright sunny morning, Stella Seeker woke up and said to herself,
What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Who is God? I can't answer these questions by myself. I think I need to find a church to help me. I'm going to look for the church that is just right for me.
So Stella put on her sturdy walking shoes and set out on her quest. After a while, she came to a sign that read,
"The church in the valley."
Oh,
said Stella.
this looks like a good place to start.
So she knocked on the door. And when it opened, she explained,
I'm Stella Seeker, and I'm looking for the church that's right for me.
Well, you found it.
said the greeter.
Come on in. What is it that you're looking for? Whatever it is, I'm sure we've got it here somewhere.
Well,
said Stella.
you see, I have some questions. What's the meaning of life? Why am I here? And who is God?
Good questions, to be sure. We can answer them in due time. Just come to church on Sunday and listen really carefully, and you will find the answers you want.
But,
said Stella.
how do I know they'll be the right answers for me?
Because we have something for everyone here, so I'm certain you will get the answers you want.
I guess I'll have to think it over first. Thanks for your time,
said Stella politely. She walked on away from the valley toward a grove of trees.
Stella, that church isn't the right one for you. That's the everything church. It tries to be all things to all people. It just won't do.
Stella didn't really know where those voices came from, but she nodded in agreement and kept walking into the big woods. Soon she saw a sign that read,
"The little church in the big woods."
Great!
exclaimed Stella.
That looks like the perfect church for me.
So she knocked on the door, and soon it was opened by a friendly looking person who said,
Well, hello, and who are you?
I'm Stella Seeker, and I'm looking for the church that's right for me.
That would be our church,
said the greeter cheerfully.
We can keep you busy all the time.
The greeter went on.
You see, on Mondays, we have discussions. And on Tuesdays, we have ladies' circle. On Wednesdays, there's choir. Of course, you'll want to be part of choir. On Thursday, we have a game night. And then on Friday, we have the potluck supper, and you'll just love that. Saturday nights, we have a dance. And then on Sunday, there's church.
Maybe I can get my questions answered on Sunday then?
And what questions are those?
Oh, like what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? Who's God?
Oh my, those are some heavy questions. I don't know. We're just so busy here that we don't really stop to think about such things very often.
Guess I'll be on my way then. Thank you for telling me about your church.
And Stella left the little church in the big woods, walked out of the grove of trees, and came to a neighborhood with rows and rows of big, expensive houses.
Stella, you know that church isn't the right one for you. That's the busy church. They're way too occupied to answer your questions. The everything church and the busy church are definitely not the right ones for you.
Stella was getting a little tired, but she was determined, so she pressed on. Soon she came to a sign that read,
The finest church this side of heaven.
Wow,
said Stella.
That's really something. I have to check this one out.
So she knocked on the door, and after a moment, it came open just a crack or two.
Yes? Who is it?
I'm Stella Seeker. I'm looking for the church that's right for me.
Said the greeter.
I don't know if we're right for you, but we have to make sure that you're right for us. We have our minister's salary to pay. We have our programs to support and all the equipment we're getting for the sanctuary and the weekly television broadcasts. You see, not everyone qualifies to belong.
Oh, I see. Well, thanks anyway.
And Stella hastened away.
Oh dear, Stella. That definitely is not the right church for you. That's the greedy church. Now you visited the everything church and the busy church and the greedy church, and you still haven't found the right one for you. But don't be downhearted, Stella. We have faith.
I still have no idea where those voices are coming from, but they are absolutely right. Maybe I'm just imagining them. I am getting a little tired.
Said Stella, but she wasn't ready to give up just yet. She was discouraged, it's true, but she still hoped to find the right church for her, and the sun was still high in the sky, so she walked on a little farther. Then she saw a sign that said,
The one true church.
My goodness,
said Stella.
the one true church? Amazing. I might have finally found the right church for me.
Stella was very excited. She knocked on the door.
Hello there, and who might you be?
I'm Stella Seeker,
Stella replied.
and I'm looking for the church that's right for me. You see, I have these questions.
Well, we have all the answers. So what are your questions?
And the greeter reached for a big black notebook.
Well, questions like, what is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Who is God?
Wait, whoa, slow down. One question at a time. Just a
With
minute.
that, the greeter opened the notebook and began to leaf through it.
Meaning of life, meaning of life. Here it is. The meaning of life is that we were all born to become just who we are and do exactly what we do. We are all perfect in the eyes of God.
Oh,
Stella exclaimed. To say she was dismayed would be an understatement. She knew the answers to her questions didn't come from a big black notebook.
I guess you're not the right church for me after all. Thanks, but no thanks.
And with that, Stella took her leave.
Stella, a worthwhile quest is never easy. Don't give up yet. We believe you will find the church that's right for you very soon. Keep going. Goodness knows that one wasn't it. That was the knows-it-all church. The everything church wasn't the one for you. Neither was the busy church or the greedy church. But the right church is waiting for you to find it, Stella. We just know it is.
It was starting to grow dark, so Stella trudged toward home. As she neared her block, to her surprise, she saw one more church. The sign said,
The community church.
Guess I might as well stop in since it's on my way home.
Stella said, so she walked up to the door and knocked. The door opened very quickly, and someone reached out and took her by the arm.
Look, Joe, we've got a live one here.
Then she turned to Stella and said,
Well, hello there. Are we glad to see you? We were just talking about how we hoped someone would come along to be on our hospitality committee. We really needed one more member, and here you are. Isn't that wonderful?
Stella backed up a step or two, shaking off the greeter's hand. Then she said,
I hardly think I'm ready to join a committee. I don't even know if I belong here. My name is Stella Seeker, and I'm looking for the church that's right for me. You see, I have some questions.
But the greeter merely smiled and took Stella by the arm again.
Of course you belong here. You came to us, didn't you? Let me show you around. If the hospitality committee doesn't work for you, we have lots of other committees that need members. You could start by bringing refreshments on Sunday. That would get you into it real fast.
I'm not sure I'm ready to get into anything just yet. I have to find out more about your church first and get those answers to my questions answered.
Oh, yeah, those questions. Well, on Sunday, you can meet our minister, and I'm sure he can help you. In the meantime,
Stella knew she wouldn't be comfortable here, so she smiled and said,
Thanks anyway. I've got to be going.
tired and dispirited, Stella hurried out the door and headed home for the night.
Stella, dear one, don't despair. Tomorrow you will find just the right church for you. Go home, get a good night's sleep. We think you've now been to all the churches that aren't right for you. The everything church, the busy church, the greedy church, the knows-it-all church, and the needy church. So the next door you knock on will surely be the right church. Take heart.
Somewhat reassured, Stella went home. She fixed a tasty supper for herself and her dog, Dallas, then read a book until she was ready to go to bed. Although she feared she might toss and turn, she slept well and woke up the next morning ready to continue her quest, at least for one more day.
I guess I'll give it one more try. If I don't find the church I'm looking for, I guess I'll have to go to a library or a university or find someone who's very wise to answer my questions.
As she was walking away from her home, Stella saw a sign she'd overlooked before. It said,
The church around the corner, Unitarian Universalist.
Oh my,
said Stella.
that church was awfully hard to spot. I've never seen it before and I've walked by here so many times. Well, I'll knock and see what happens.
Stella walked up to the door and knocked. A friendly face peered out at her. Then the door opened and Stella stepped in.
Hey, I'm Rebecca. Welcome. What can I do for you?
Huh, thought Stella. Nobody ever asked me that question before. Nobody ever told me who they were either.
Well, I'm Stella Seeker, and I'm looking for the right church for me. You see, I have these questions.
What are your questions?
Yes, well, like, what is the meaning of life?
Whew, wish I knew the answer to that one. I don't think most of us here at the church around the corner know that. But we might have ideas you'd like to toss around sometime. We like to talk things over, you know. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, like why am I here?
Another toughie. Why are we here? I guess most of us believe we're here for a short time, so we try to do what we can to make a difference. We work for justice and equality and peace. We try to be loving and respectful of each other.
I like those goals. And I have another question as well. Who is God?
Ooh, that's the hardest one of all. In the church around the corner, you'll find some people who believe God exists and others who aren't sure, and some who think God is in each one of us. But I don't think any of us try to define or depict God. We have faith, but I would say it's a faith in possibility and in the potential for human goodness. We're all searching for the truth together in our own ways.
Seems as if you have the same questions I do and no answers.
You're right. We don't have answers and we don't have a creed, but we do have faith. Maybe you'd like to come back tomorrow and meet our minister, Reverend Laurel. She'd love to talk, I'm sure.
Stella was intrigued by this church, so she agreed to come back and meet Reverend Laurel the next day. She found it puzzling that the church around the corner didn't have answers, but she liked the idea that the people in the church were searching together. Strangely, she noticed that she didn't hear the chorus of voices when she left the church around the corner. Stella went about her business the rest of the day, and she did come back the next day. Sure enough, Reverend Laurel was there to meet her.
Stella, hello. I'm so happy to meet you. So please have a seat. Rebecca said that you have some questions, and I'm sorry that I don't have the answers either, But I do have my personal beliefs, which I'd be happy to share with you if you'd like, or we can just talk.
How different.
Said Stella.
At all the other churches I visited, they wanted something from me. You seem to be interested in what I'm seeking. You see, I'm looking for the church that's right for me.
Well, Stella, you're the only one who can decide whether this is the right church for you, but we'd be happy to have you come and give us a try. And then if you think we are the church that's right for you, we'd be very pleased to welcome you.
You know, the church I'm looking for, I don't think I can describe it, but I do know I'll know when I find it.
Most of us feel that same way. Well, Stella, good luck in your search.
Stella started to leave, but then she thought about what she had just heard at the church around the corner. She turned around and said to Reverend Laurel,
Tell me a little bit more about what your church believes.
Sure. So we are Unitarian Universalists. Our denomination grew out of the Christian faith, but we've moved beyond Christianity to become much more eclectic. We now seek wisdom from many faiths.
Rebecca said you don't have a creed, something I have to say I accept in order to join. Well, I'm not sure what I believe, but I do know I don't want a church that tells me what I have to believe in order to be saved. I don't even know what I'm being saved from.
Well, it's true, we don't have a creed, but we do have principles that we try to live by. We won't give you the answers to your questions, but we will be here to try to help you find them for yourself.
The church around the corner just might be the one I've been looking for. A warm and caring community, space to think for myself, support in my spiritual journey. I think my search might be over.
So Stella left that day a happy seeker. She may not have gotten her questions answered, but when she found the church that was right for her, getting answers to her questions didn't seem quite as important. She had faith that in time, she and her fellow searchers would arrive at answers that worked for each of them.
We're not going to tell you that Stella in the church around the corner, Unitarian Universalist, lived happily ever after, because that wouldn't be real. After all, we are all human, aren't we?
We do know that Stella became a valued member of the church around the corner, found out more about Unitarian Universalism, made many friends, spread the word about the church she had found, and gave freely of her time, talent, and treasure because she was so richly rewarded in return.
Now, wouldn't you call that a happy ending?
So we imagine the curtain going down, maybe up again, and all of us step to the edge of the play and hold hands and take a bow. And there's wild applause in the audience. And we take another bow, but no, we don't have an encore. But we do hope that you will find the church that you're seeking for. So thank you to Barbara Fleming. Barbara is proud to be an 85-year-old woman, and she did a remarkable job. Someone who's used to having, as she says, feet on the floor, and she adapted to this Zoom format. So a special thanks to you, Barbara. Thanks to all of you who participated, and thanks to all of you who I can still hear. Bravo. Oh, even a whistle. Okay. All right. Well, that was our romp with Stella Seeker. And so now we are reaching the end of our service. We have the offertory. We're ready to receive our offering. As you know, one of the ways that Namaqua walks our talk is that we give away half of our collection plate each quarter to a nonprofit that is in our area that embodies our values. And so this quarter, Insight Skills Center is our half plate recipient. They serve Northern Colorado and I think even Wyoming. And they provide low vision services, including orientation and mobility, which if some of you don't know it, my partner Francie, that was one of her careers. So as you give, there is a donation button that will be in your chat box. You're also, of course, welcome to mail a check to the church. And one more ode to joy during the offertory. Please be generous. And to bless our offering, please repeat after me. We dedicate ourselves, and these are our offerings, to the vision of this congregation, which is to radiate love, peace, and justice. As together we work to build beloved community. Thank you. And now, Barbara, again, kudos to you, and will you please read the words, and I'll extinguish our chalice.
Technical glitch here. Cherish your doubts, for doubt is the servant of truth. Question your convictions, for beliefs too tightly held strangle the mind and its natural wisdom. Suspect all certitudes, for the world whirls on, nothing abides. Yet in our inner rooms full of doubt, inquiry, and suspicion, let a corner be reserved for trust. For without trust, there is no space for communities to gather or for friendships to be forged. Indeed, this is the small corner where we connect and reconnect with each other.
And the words to the song, the UU Blessing song that we will once again sing one of these months in our sanctuary. It's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. What you know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty you love be what you do, and you don't have to do it alone. Cha, cha, cha. All right, so good to be together. And we now will have a couple of announcements, and then you will be given an opportunity to mingle a little bit in our virtual coffee hour. So next week, we kick off our annual budget drive. And so I believe this week you'll start getting packets, and the budget drive is essential to Namaqua. We don't have any endowment or anything, and so we rely heavily on the contributions of your time, treasure, and talent. And I think it's very apt that we also begin our new Soul Matters theme, which is on beloved community. And so the service next week will be about beloved community. It will be me and worship associate Trish Murtha. So we hope that you can join us then. Also, we haven't had an ingathering of new members for a long time. We were on the brink last spring. We were going to gather some new members in April, but then you know what happened. And so this morning, Alice Kane and I sent out an email to a number of people who we know are potentially interested in becoming members. And so next Sunday at 11:45 after the service, we will have what's called Pathways to Membership. And so you will be invited to return to this Zoom room, or maybe we'll have another Zoom room. And we'll talk a little bit about Namaqua, answer your questions about what being a member means, maybe talk a little bit about Unitarian Universalism. But it's a chance to be in a smaller group and actually have conversations and get to know me and Alice Kane, who's our membership chair, a little bit better. And then the following week, we will start a 4-week class called Starting Point. And we tried it for the first time, I think it was 2 springs ago, and it's really a wonderful class that helps orient newcomers and really give you kind of an immersion experience of Unitarian Universalism. So if any of you did not get the email, but you are interested in potentially coming to the Pathways class, and then maybe even the idea of joining the Starting Point class, why don't you either put your name and contact information in the chat box, or you can write to me or Alice Kane, and we will respond and give you the information. So with no further ado, we are going to try something a little bit different today, which is we'll have 2 different opportunities to mingle. And so it'll be a total of about 16 minutes. And the first 8 minutes, you'll be invited into a break room and have conversation with a set of people. And then you'll be given a 1-minute warning and come back in the main room and then be shuffled a little bit. And then you'll get to go into another room and talk with some other people. So it's designed to be a bit more like an actual coffee hour where you can mingle a little bit. So thank you all for coming today. I hope to see you next week, or some of you in the chat room. So take good care, be well.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Now we're going to go to another room.
There we go.
are we in a new breakout room or is this the main room? And maybe chat's over, coffee hour's over.
Yeah, it didn't seem like an hour at all, did it?
Hey, Francie.
Hi,
Great
Julie.
job at the door there, being such a
Oh, everybody have a
hothead.
blessed day.
Hi, Trish. Hey, there's Julie. You did come in.
Hi, Julie. Yeah,
Don't
so
you
Francie
think
was,
Kate was the star of the play?
Yeah.
Katie with her sign.
Oh yeah,
right,
it
that
was
was great.
great.
What?
All right. Well, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, bye, Alice.
So long.
And
Good to see
Trish, you and I
everybody.
talk.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
See you, Lisa.
See you later,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Bye, Julie.
Bye.
Karen. Chad. Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye.
Chad.
You're welcome. Great service.
Oh, I
Okay.
got to chat with your friend Lisa for a couple seconds.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, she was great.
We were just about to talk about more artwork and
Oh yeah. Her work is so great. I love looking at it and hearing
I'd
about it.
love to see it. Feel free to send her my email if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
I will let her know. I'll probably talk to her in just a few minutes on the phone. So.
Yeah, she said you were inspiration.
Oh.
Well, we've got you now. And
All right.
she's right.
Bye, everybody. Great to
Bye.
see you, Julie.
Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, you guys. All right, bye.
Hey, Julie, call me if you want, Jules.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, honey.
Bye.